Yeah. Good evening, children. I am Kumar, an Executive Dean and the NEET Program Coordinator to Sri Chaitanya Educational Institutions. So, on behalf of Sri Chaitanya Educational Institutions, I welcome you one and all to this an interactive session of a right approach to solve questions, mainly in physics and chemistry, but this will also help a lot in botany and zoology. Now, children, remember one thing, for the past 2 years, you are in preparation mode. You might have written this internal practice exams also, but you will be writing the grand test. That means the test consisting of the total first and second year syllabus. So, that kind of test you are going to write in the coming days. So, whatever So, whatever you have learnt all these days, now you need to convert that into marks in the exams that are going to be conducted, because all these are the practice exams. Now, with this experience, if you take the final examination, then whatever the marks you are getting here, you need to get more marks in the final examination. So, for that, this is the time where you need to learn the right approach to solve questions in the internal practice examinations, and which should help you in the final examination. Is it clear, children? So, I think all of you might be in the high preparation mode, because just 42 days are left for your very big day, that is 5th May 2024, that is on the day NEET will be conducted. And one more news is that this time 25% increase in the number of students who are going to write NEET. That is, in the 2023, 20.5 lakhs of students appeared for the NEET. But this time, that number is crossed 25 lakhs. 25 lakhs. But children, remember, that is just a number. There is no need for you to develop some kind of fear that 25% increase in the number of competitors. Of course, the number is increased to 25, but the number of serious aspirants just like you may not increase by 25%. Or in another way, by thinking that 25% increase in the number of competitors, then you need to be highly cautious, and you need to keep all your focus on your preparation and practicing the internal examinations in the next 42 days. Is it clear, children? Yes. Now, before going to that details, let us discuss some 2 or 3 very, very important points which you require on any day at any time. Now, see, if you take at all India level, the competition to get into the medical college will be 1:38. That means out of 38 students, 1 student will be getting into medical colleges. This is based on the number of the seats and the number of competitors last year. So, this year that number will increase little bit. Now, if you take at the state level, that is the Telangana, in the Telangana it is 1:18, that is the competition ratio. 1:18, that means out of every 18 students, 1 student will be getting into the medical colleges. So, this is again based on the number of students taking the exam and the number of seats available. If you take the government medical college, it is 1:12. Now, in the Andhra Pradesh, it is 1:18, that is medical college. If you take the government medical college, it is 1:13. Is it clear? Now, so this is the one thing which every student requires. Now, the second thing, see what are the 10 cutoffs in the year NEET in the year 2023. Now children, remember, every student who is taking the NEET examination will aspire, will dream of doing MBBS in AIIMS New Delhi. So every student, so that is the dream college of all these 25 lakhs of students who are going to take NEET in this year on the 5th May 2024. Is it clear, children? So the number of seats in the AIIMS Delhi are 125, but the number of aspirants for doing MBBS in the AIIMS Delhi will be 25 lakhs. 25 lakhs. But still, from Sri Chaitanya, every year there will be 27 to 29 students only from the Sri Chaitanya doing MBBS in the AIIMS New Delhi. So every year this is happening, and every year we are increasing that number little bit. So hoping that in the year 2024, that means with your batch it may cross 30. Fine. Then now if ever you take the AIIMS New Delhi, the mark, cutoff mark in the year 2023, that means the students who got above 710 marks out of 720 are into AIIMS Delhi. Then suppose if you take the AIIMS Mangalagiri, so the cutoff mark in the general category will be 679, and in the BB Nagar, that is Telangana, cutoff mark will be 670. If ever you take the least cutoff mark in any of the AIIMS is 651. Is it clear, children? Yes. Now, if you take the JIPMER, it is the second best medical college in the country. That is where the cutoff mark is 705, and Karaikal the cutoff mark is 655. So these are the things generally any student who is appearing the NEET must know. That is how many students are taking the exam, and how many MBBS seats are available, and how many MBBS seats are in the government college, and how many seats are in the private college, and what could be the tentative cutoff mark. Is it clear, children? Yes. Now by this time each one of you might kept a goal of doing MBBS in so and so medical college, and by this time almost all of you might have written so many practice tests, and you might be getting marks. Some of you might be getting marks on par with your dream medical college, and some of you might not be getting. So if you are getting marks on par with the cutoff required for the dream medical college, fine, and you need to improve further to upgrade your dream medical college. And those who are not getting, then we need to think how to get the required marks. Now if you take the subject wise contribution to enter into the medical college, not of the dream medical college, remember, enter into the medical college. If you take the biology, so marks wise 50% contribution. That means out of 720, 360 marks are from biology, 180 from the physics, and 180 from the chemistry. Is it clear? Then, so marks wise 50% contribution, but MBBS seat getting wise it is more than 60% contribution. That is, I'll give you one simple example. In the Telangana cutoff is 452. So in general what will happen is, if the total mark is 452, the student must get 310 marks in the biology. So 310 marks out of 452 means it is nearly 66% contribution is from the biology, just to enter into the medical college. Similarly, if you take the physics, marks wise 25% contribution, but seat getting wise it is less than 18% contribution only. That means if you take this 452 marks, 310 marks in this biology and 70 marks in this physics, and the leftover marks if the student can get in the chemistry, then that student can happily do MBBS in Telangana state, because the cutoff mark is 452. So similarly, if you take the chemistry, marks wise 25% contribution, MBBS seat getting wise less than 20% contribution. Children, try to understand why I am discussing about this thing, because out of the 4 subjects, relatively easier subjects are botany and zoology, and NEET doesn't have any subject wise cutoff mark. So even in one subject, if you get 5 or 10 marks, still you can be into the medical college basing on your total marks. So as there is no subject wise cutoff marks, the students who are getting little bit less marks than the cutoff marks required, then they need to focus a bit more on the biology. So with a little effort, but remember little effort must be little, but that must be the consistent, and you must do enough work. So if you can put that much of effort in the biology, then with comfort you can get 310 and more marks. Once you get 310 and more marks in the biology, those who are getting below 450 marks in the practice tests, then this will be a great boon and you feel more confident. Once you feel more confident, you will be doing bit more work in the upcoming days. So that is the reason I am emphasizing the point that the students who are getting less marks and students who are getting little bit short of the cutoff mark need to focus on the biology more if they are getting below 300 marks. Suppose if they are getting above 300 marks, already they are getting 310. Then they need to focus either on the physics or on the chemistry, depending on the subject in which they are getting less marks. Is it clear, children? Yes. Now, see children, especially in the objective examinations, answering the question is a little bit different from answering question in the descriptive examination. Though both are time bound exams, but the number of questions to be answered in the descriptive are less. Number of questions to be answered in the objective are more. If you take the NEET exam, so there you need to answer 180 questions out of 200 questions given in 3 hours 20 minutes. That means almost all 1 minute, one question per 1 minute. One question per 1 minute. So in that 1 minute, you have to read the question, and you have to analyze the question, and you have to you have to identify the logic given in the question, and then you need to choose the proper answer. All these things need to be done in less than 1 minute, because theoretically, though every question demands a 1 minute time, but there will be some questions which demands 3 minutes, 4 minutes, even 5 minutes. At the same time, there will be some questions which may require 10 seconds or 20 seconds. Now, you need to do all this procedure in the objective questions. Clear? Then, even if there is a small mistake in reading the question, like instead of incorrect, if you read it as a correct, or while reading you read as incorrect, but while going through the options, if you think that it is the correct, then it is wrong. Answer will go wrong. And at that time, you don't realize that you made the mistake. When you will realize? After the exam is over, after coming out of the examination hall, then you will realize that there incorrect is asked, but I choose the option for correct statement. So all this kind of things will happen in this objective examinations. And one more important thing, 90+ percentage of questions in the objective examinations are in the range of even an average student. 90+ % of questions. Though 90+ % of questions in these objective examinations are in the range of an average student, but when it comes to the scoring, it is not like that. I'll give you one simple example. In the 2023, out of 20.52 lakhs of the students, only 1.5 lakhs of the students got marks above 450 out of 720. So above 450 means it is around some 63-64%. I said that 90% of the 90+% of the questions are in the range of average student. But when it comes to the outcome, hardly 5% of the students scored, 5% of the students scored more than 63-64% of the marks. This is the fact. Then why it is happening? You know it pretty well, because all of you have wrote so many NEET examinations by this time, and you are going to write some more examinations in the coming days. So why it is happening? Why are you not able to transform your knowledge into the marks? Unfortunate thing is, many students are not thinking on this subject. Instead, they are increasing the study time. Instead of 10 hours they used to read, now they are reading 11 hours, now they are reading 12 hours, because they got less marks in the previous examinations. But that thing is good, that is fine. Increasing the study time is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. But the most important thing is, why are you not able to transform your knowledge into the marks? This is the very, very important, because this is the one with which your hard work for the past several years will be rewarded. So you need to think elaborately on this. Why the things are going wrong? Why the things are not going as per your expectation prior to the exam? What is happening in the 3 hours 20 minutes of examination? Children, 3 hours 20 minutes, that is the examination time, that will decide your fate. That will decide your fate. And that is the exam for which you are preparing for the past several years. But your goal and your aim will be fulfilled in that 200 minutes or 3 hours 20 minutes. So what value you find in that 200 minutes, and how much focus you need to keep, that means how much your level of concentration in that 3 hours 20 minutes time, you just assess. And are you putting that much of effort in that 3 hours 20 minutes? If you can focus, if you can keep that 3 hours 20 minutes on high alert with more than 100% of the focus, then not only your knowledge, you will acquire some knowledge because you attempted most of the questions right. You will increase your confidence levels. So with increasing confidence levels, you can answer almost all the questions right. So that is the right approach you need to develop. Now let us see generally what kind of mistakes students are doing and what kind of correct procedure they need to adopt. Now first, understanding the exam format. This is the very, very important, very, very important. See, it does not mean that you don't know. You know it already. Because you might have written nearly 60-70 NEET model examinations so far in the Sri Chaitanya, 60 to 70. But still I am asking you to understand the exam pattern. This is very much important. Exam pattern, you know it pretty well. That is 200 questions will be given, 200 minutes of time will be given. You need to answer 180 questions. So almost all 1 minute, one question. It is 1:1. That is the time, this is the question. Now once you understand the exam format, means you need to prepare psychologically that I must answer questions in less than 1 minute compulsorily. There are some questions which require just 10 seconds only. And for those questions, you must not use more than 1 minute, more than 10 seconds. Though there is a 1 minute one question, but there are some questions which require 4-5 minutes. So from where you will borrow that time? You need to borrow that time by spending less time in simple questions. Is it clear, children? There are many students, what they do is, though they can answer the question in 10 seconds, they feel that I am authorized to use 1 minute. Okay, let us answer this question slowly. Fine, you are authorized to use 1 minute. But when a question demands more time, so from where you will get the time? So it is a logic. That means how much time is needed, spend that much of time. If a question demands 2 minutes, spend. If a question demands 10 seconds, spend 10 seconds only. Not more, there, not less. But the thing is, we must get an answer. That's it. Now, so that is understanding the exam format. Then plan your approach. Plan your approach means, see, within 5 minutes, that means once the examination question paper is given to you, just scan the question paper once, not just like a robot. Just scan in your usual way. Scan it. But don't consume much time. Maximum 5 minutes, not more than that. If it is less than that, then. Now, there is an advantage, there is a disadvantage with this. Now, I will tell you the advantage. Once you scan the entire question paper, so as you have an experience of writing 60 to 70 NEET exams so far, you know which question is difficult and which question is easy. Then if you scan, you will have some assessment that these are the questions which are difficult, or this is a very big question, I must leave this question. So you will get some kind of assessment. Now, this is the advantage. Suppose if you identify that paper is questions are tough, let us assume. Then this is the time where you need to be a bit stable. Now let us assume that if the paper is tough, will it be tough only to you? No, it will be tough to everyone. Suppose the paper is easy, will it be easy to you only? No, it will be easy to everyone. So whether it is tough or easy, you can't make any big impact in that 3 hours 20 minutes of time that you need to remember. Whether it is an easy paper or whether it is a tough paper, you must take the paper with the same mindset, with the same thought process, and your goal is how much you know. You must convert that into the marks, whether it is an easy paper or tough paper. Is it clear, children? Now plan your approach. Is it clear? Just scan the paper, get some kind of assessment, and basing on that proceed further. Next. Now answer easy questions first. Children, remember one thing. See, in any objective exam, the questions that requires less time and less energy to answer must be answered first. Whether it may be from the botany or zoology or physics or chemistry. So relatively, almost all the students will feel biology is easy. So the best approach for any student to get a maximum possible marks is answering biology questions first. Answering biology questions first. Means if you start with all the correct questions, all the correct answering, then naturally anyone will feel more confident with that. If they proceed further, then all smiles. So answer the biology questions first. Now children, remember. Now let us assume that you have answered some 10 questions. Now 11th question is a very big. Almost all one total page, there is one question. One question is there in the total page, one question. So just to read that question, you require more time. So if ever you have that question and if ever you have not seen that kind of question previously, then you just mark that question and keep it for the final stage. That means it's next phase, not in the first phase. Because you can answer that question, but it may require 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So while answering that question, after the midway, you feel that so much of time I am consuming. So once you get that kind of feeling, then neither that question nor other question you will be doing perfect. So that is the reason a big thing, or that means a big question or complicated questions, don't answer at the beginning, answer at the end. Is it clear, children? Then, so always easy questions. Now first attempt biology, then go to the chemistry. Go to the chemistry. In the chemistry also, don't go by the order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. This is the approach many students are following. But children, remember, there is no need for you to answer questions in the serial order. Leave one question, what will happen? You are not leaving that question totally, you are leaving that question temporarily, and at the end you will be answering that question. Why? Why means to save the energy and to save the time. Suppose if the question is lengthy, at the beginning if you solve, you will be consuming more time, which is not good. Is it clear, children? Yes. So even in the answering the chemistry, you answer the questions which you are damn sure. Then leave some questions and nothing will happen. Now you are not leaving permanently, remember. So leave temporarily, that means in the phase 1, then attempt all those questions in the phase 2 after answering all the questions which are in your range. Is it clear, children? Then after the chemistry, then go to the physics. In the physics also, instead of answering the questions in the serial order, you just answer all the questions which you know thoroughly, which you know perfect. With that, you feel more confident. Once you feel more confident, you will get ideas very quickly. Once you get ideas quickly, you can answer the questions at the faster rate without any hesitation. Is it clear, children? Yes. Now, see, answering easy questions first, and the next thing is skip difficult questions. That already we have discussed. Skip the difficult questions, nothing will happen. If you skip the difficult questions, you will get more time, you will get more energy, you will get more marks. And sometimes a student will get more marks in leaving the questions rather than holding the questions, rather than attempting the questions. So if you can leave these tougher questions, that means you are saving much time for answering the leftover questions. But children, remember, there are some students who takes this thing as a challenge. That means let us see the end of that question. If the question is challenging me, let us see the end of that question. But children, remember, never ever think to end the question. If you think like that, you will be ending yourself in your goal achievement. Don't do that. If ever there is a challenging question, don't accept the challenge in the phase 1. Accept the challenge in the phase 2. That means at the end. So wantedly, we give some questions for you to deceive. Yes, to make you to undergo sidetrack. So you should not get a deviation from the main path. You must follow the path that will give you more marks. Is it clear, children? Yes. Now, if it is too long, if it is difficult, then you need. Now the question comes is how to identify the difficult questions. Then you may think that I must read that question to know whether it is difficult or whether it is above my range or below my range. And this is the very important technique. Very important technique. And you will identify the tougher questions and the questions which are beyond your range when you do after exam analysis. That means after the exam is done. If ever you analyze the question paper very seriously, the question paper which you have attempted very seriously, while analyzing, you must identify the questions which wasted much of your time and the questions which you have answered very fast and the questions that questions deceived you. So if you do this kind of after exam analysis for every exam, then after few exams you yourself will identify whether that question is difficult or whether I must attempt that question now or should I attempt that question at the end. So you will be identifying this. For that you must do some kind of exercise, that is after exam analysis. But unfortunately, most of the students are not doing after exam analysis. Instead, they are preparing best for the upcoming exam but not doing this after exam analysis. But children, remember, this is the time where you must do after exam analysis, because for the past 2 years you are preparing. Now it is the time for you that to know what is happening in that 200 minutes of the time, and what are the things that are going unfavor and what are the things that are favoring you. If you can identify all these things, you can improve your marks and you can improve your preparation techniques in the upcoming exam. Is it clear, children? This is the very important. This is very important, because on this the marks depends even in the practice test and also in the final examinations. On this only. So even if you are hesitant to know your mistakes, you must know. If you don't know what mistakes you are committing, then how can you rectify them in the upcoming exams? So children, you must do after exam analysis, and you must identify the reasons, the mistakes which you are committing, and you must also identify the solution. Children, remember one thing. Suppose I am a chemistry lecturer, if you come to me and if you ask me that, sir, this is the topic which is difficult, please explain me. Okay, I can explain you. I can make you perfect in that particular question, in that particular topic. You have acquired the knowledge. But in the exam, if a question comes from the same concept, you might make it right, you might make it wrong. Let us suppose you made it wrong, but you have the knowledge. You know how to answer that question, but still you did not got marks to that question. So this is a very big mystery. I can't predict, because what thing you made, that means what is your thought process at the time of answering that question, I don't know. So I will be knowing only if you say. And you can say only when you recollect what happened at the time of answering that question. So all these things you must identify in your after exam analysis. Is it clear, children? It is not a time waste process. It is a process with which you will increase your efficiency, with which you will increase your confidence levels, and with which you will increase your marks. Is it clear, children? Now, keep track of time. This is the very important. Now, there may be an easy question. Let us assume you started doing that easy question. Question is easy, but it involves so many steps to get the final answer. So you are doing all the steps and you are getting the answers. You are moving from one step to another step successfully. But it may consume lot of time. If ever it consumes much time, it is better for you to stop that question and proceed to another question. Now what will happen, you see? Even though you get correct answer, then while going to the next question, suppose if the next question demands only 10 seconds, let us assume, even that question and this question both will carry the same marks. You may get feeling that I spent so much of time on that question, so I lost that much of time. With that mindset, if you attempt the remaining questions, then your brain will not work with 100% efficiency. So that is the reason, if a question demands much time, you must avoid it at the beginning. If not, after 1 minute or 2 minutes, you just stop doing that question, go to the another question, provided it demands much time. Is it clear, children? Yes. Next, analyze the problem. Now, children, remember, Most of the numericals which you get in physics and in chemistry are formula based. Formula based. Very few questions requires much analytical skills, and very few questions involves multi concepts. But most of the questions are straightforward, just formula based. That means they will be giving some data, and in the data they will give some quantities, and they will ask another quantity, and you need to establish a relationship between the quantities given and the quantity asked. Just you need to substitute the values. But children, nowadays most of the students are very, very poor in multiplications and divisions because of the excessive usage of calculators during the practice session. And if a child of some 5 years or 6 years using the calculator, means the parents will be delighted that my kid is using the calculator. But they don't know this usage, this habit, how it will affect the same kid in the future. So children, at least during these days, never ever use calculators. Use your tables and use your skills in doing that multiplications and divisions, because nowadays most of the students know the concept, they know the applications, but when it comes to the usage of this application, they are using right, they are doing good, but while deriving the answer from the formula, they are making the mistake. So that is the reason. So analyze the problem thoroughly, what is given in the problem, what is asked, and use the formula connecting them and substitute the values, get the answer. That's it. And children, remember, there are many questions of this type in the subject which you are feeling very tough, that is the physics. If ever you have any doubt, let us assume, then see the NEET 2023 paper, or NEET 2022 paper, NEET 2021 paper. Is it clear? If you see those papers, you will get an idea that how are the what kind of questions are being given in the examinations. So again, children, remember, most of the questions are in your range, but because of various factors, like not focusing in that 3 hours 20 minutes of examination all the time, you are not high alert, and not taking that exam seriously, thinking that it is a practice exam. But children, remember, you are attending 100 practice examinations, but only one final exam. How you are attempting this practice examinations, in the same way you will be attempting the final exam. But every student think that I will be doing in a different way. I will be doing the final exam with a high focus, with a high alert, and it in a totally different way. But children, how it is possible? 100 practice exams you have written with one thought process, and how come your thought process will change in one at one exam? Impossible. So the best solution for that is, at least from this day onwards, every internal practice exam must be treated as a final exam. You must think that this is the final exam, and the marks which I will get in this examination will decide my fate, and it will decide my goal realization. If you think like that, not only just thinking, if you implement like that in every practice examination, definitely you will be doing the best in the final exam. Children, remember, more than 50% of the students, don't concentrate much even in the final examination. Why? Because they have not concentrated, they have not focused on the internal examinations of which the student has written, and there they will struggle to keep that 200 minutes in highly focused state and in the high alert state. So everything requires some practice. So that practice you will be getting in the internal examinations. That is the reason every internal examination must be treated as a final exam. Before starting the exam, you just think that I am writing an exam and the marks which I will get in this examination is going to decide my fate and going to will make us to realize my goal. If you feel like that, then definitely you will be under some tension naturally. But experience the tension in the practice examinations. Experience the stress in the practice examinations. If you feel the tension in the final examination, happiness in the internal examination, then in what way it is useful? No way it is useful. Every student will feel the tension. Every parent will be under the tension that how my kid will be doing this examination. So every student must develop a habit of feeling the tension in the internal examinations to be tension free in the final examination. Is it clear, children? So practice this right from today, because everything one will get with the practice. Even feeling the tension, getting the tension also requires some practice. So do that. Then what will happen is in one exam you feel the tension, and while doing after exam analysis you will identify that I felt the tension, because of that I did not recollect the answer correctly. So in the next examination I must decrease my tension. Is it clear? Good. Now see, identify the known and unknown values. Just now only we have discussed most of the problems, 90+ percentage of numericals are formula based. Very few questions involves multi concepts and very few questions are very tough. If ever you catch a hold of the tougher question in the initial phases, you will be out. If ever you leave the tougher questions in the initial phase and attempt easier questions, then you will get more marks and you will be realizing your dream. Is it clear, children? Do that. Then choose the right formula, right method. If your approach is right, then if you identify the quantities given in a correct way, naturally you will be identifying the formula correct. So if you do not identify the quantities, then you cannot identify the formula. So if your concentration levels are high, then you will identify the quantities given right, and you will identify right formula, and you will be substituting the values in a proper way. Then check units and dimensions. Children, remember, this is the very, very important. Check units and dimensions. Here I will give you some sample questions also where the students losing the marks during in these objective examinations. Now visualize the solution. Visualize the solution means, see, you have seen one question. See, within seconds you need to identify this is the first step, second step, third step, and this is the answer. How can you do that? That is, by this time you have practiced thousands of questions. The questions which you will get at the examination is not 10,001, is not 20,001. It is one of the questions which you have practiced. Out of the 200 questions which you will face in the any of the NEET examination, 190 plus questions you might have practiced previously. 190 questions. So the only thing is you must correlate this question with the question which you have practiced previously. If you can do that, then you will be on the success path. Is it clear, children? So, and once you know that, once you identify that, you will be even identify, you will visualize how that is a question need to be solved. Once you visualize that, your problem will be solved. If you don't visualize, that means a question is given in the exam, you are solving the question, you are attempting, you are solving the question, and you have not visualized the solution. So after some time, the question is going. That means so much of time you are consuming. There are so many steps you are doing. You are successfully completing one step after another step, but so many steps are going on. Still, you didn't get the solution. So because of your inability to visualize that many steps are involved in that problem, you are losing the time. If you have visualized that many steps are there, then why you will be doing that question? You will be pushing that question to next. That means at the end. Children, see that 200 minutes of the time which you have now in the form of an examination is very crucial. Very crucial. Your success depends on making use of this 200 minutes in the most effective way. Now, identify time wasters. Sometimes just like that we waste the time on some questions, just like that without any reason. That means if a question is asked simply and you know the answer, the moment you read the question, and still you are bubbling it very slowly, and you have identified that the answer very slowly, just like the old TV plays. Still you think that I am not wasting the time because I am authorized to use 1 minute. But if ever you spend excess time for any question, even the question you might answer it in the 10 seconds, if you spend 10 more seconds, the 10 more seconds is a waste. And the 10 more seconds might be useful for you to answer one lengthier question. Because for every such kind of question, 10 seconds, the 10 seconds will add few minutes, and with that few minutes you can answer some unknown questions, right? With that, what will happen is, you may be moving from Jipmer into AIIMS Delhi, or you will be moving from one best college to another best college, or you will be moving from a degree college to medical college. So one question will make a very big difference, children, because there are thousands of students who will miss every year with just 1 mark for not doing MBBS in that particular year. Just 1 mark. Just 1 mark, children. Now I'll give you some sample examples. Children, remember, you feel that this is the very simple, why, how come the students made the mistake? Now, half-life of a chemical reaction is 1 minute. Then how much time in seconds? How much time in seconds? The given quantity in the minute, they are asking in the seconds. Required for 75% completion of reaction. Now children, this is a very simple question and every student know the answer. But most of the students don't get the marks for this. And they don't even realize that I made the mistake. They will realize only when the result is announced. That is, the time required for 75% completion is equal to 2 times of half-life. So 2 times of half-life given is 1 minute and T75 is equal to 2 into 1 minute, 2 minutes. That is the answer. Everybody will get. Now what is the first option? 2. Then everyone will go to the first option. And with the student will feel that so much of happy that I completed that question in the very less time, and that question is very very simple, and in the entire that chemical kinetics this question is very simple. So I am quite happy. But the thing is, half-life of a chemical reaction is 1 minute. How much time in seconds? 2 minutes you got, but they are not asking the time in minutes, they are asking time in seconds. So what is the answer? Answer is 120. Answer is 120. Now the same question is appeared in the final examinations some 2 to 3 years back. So many toppers, means whom we say that they are getting 700 marks, 705 marks, even so many students made the mistake. If a student commits this kind of mistakes, it is a double loss. Why it is a double loss? One is, question is very easy, so the student must get, instead of getting last 1 mark, instead of getting 4 marks, last 1 mark. Is it not a double disadvantage? Double loss. So how to avoid this kind of questions? Very simple. You must read questions properly. You must underline keywords. So here the keyword is 1 minute. Here the keyword is second. If you underline, you will be spending some 1 to 2 seconds. So if you spend that 1 to 2 seconds of time while substituting this 1 minute in the formula, then you will recollect that they are not asked the time in the minutes, they are asking the time in the seconds. So that thought is good for you to answer this question, right? So there are some questions of this type. So read the question properly, underline keywords. Is it clear, children? Then now, how many faradays of electrical charge is required to deposit 2 gram equivalents of copper during electrolysis of aqueous cupric sulfate solution with platinum electrodes? Question is very simple. Everyone knows the answer, but many students again lose the marks. See, for depositing 1 gram equivalent weight, 1 Faraday of electrical charge is required. Whatever be the element it is, whether it is silver or copper or aluminum or ferric, whatever it may be, 1 gram equivalent weight, 1 Faraday. So there I asked how much, how many Faradays for 2 gram equivalents? So answer is 2. Answer is 2. Then what the students will be doing is, they will mark the second option. See, they made the solution right. They know the answer, but in their mind, the 2 will highlight 2. So immediately they will go and they will mark the second option. But what is the second option here? 1. What is the first option? 2 Faradays. So answer is 1. But the student has marked which option? Answer is 2. Why it happened? In the practice exam, means while studying, while practicing the questions, you don't commit this kind of mistakes. But in the exam, you will commit. Because in the exam, you will be under tension. You will be under pressure of completing the questions very fast. But in the practice sessions, no fast. Whatever be the time you take, you can take. So in order to avoid this kind of thing, during the practice sessions, you must fix some time. Means the practice sessions must be time-bounded sessions. That means keep 10 questions and keep the time 15 minutes. So complete these 10 questions in the 15 minutes. Children, remember, practice time is so many times more than the exam time. As a practice time is so many times more than the exam time, how you practice will matter how you do in the exam. So these practice sessions will also determine how is your thought process in the exam. Because in the practice sessions, if you are slow, then how come you will be very fast in the exam? Impossible. So even in the practice sessions also, you must be like how you will be in the exam. If you are like that, then this approach will help you a lot. Means you must not treat exam in a bit different way from the practice. It does not mean that this practice sessions approach will be followed in the exam session. No, exam session approach need to be followed in the practice sessions. Is it clear, children? Yes. So, if you see this question, you may feel that what is there in it? I don't commit any mistake. But children, this question appeared in the previous years. So many students made the mistake. So, with that only I am explaining the question. Is it clear, children? So, don't carry away with the answer which you will get with the options. Many times that answer numerical value will be different from 1, 2, 3, 4. But sometimes it may be, answer may be 1, 2, 3 or 4 numerical value. But don't see that value in the options. But don't mark the option that is the answer, that is that numerical value of that question. Is it clear, children? Now, this is a physics question. You just see. Ratio of, I'll explain you one more chemistry question. See this. See here, interconversion, you know it pretty well, and most of the students can answer it in no time. That is ethyl bromide, alcoholic potassium hydroxide, aqueous potassium hydroxide. So, A will be the ethyl alcohol and PCC, B will be the acetaldehyde, everybody knows, and this is hydroxylamine. So, acetaldehyde reacts with hydroxylamine, it undergoes condensation followed by the elimination of water molecule. So, they will get a oxime. So, oxime will be CH3 CH double bond NOH. It is a very, very simple, very simple. 100% of the students will know the answer for this. But all the students who know the answer may or may not get the marks. Again the same thing, like here identify B. Generally what will happen is the focus of the student is on the end, that is C. But here in the question I have not asked the C, I have asked B. Not only B, you also know A, you also know C, but I did not ask the C, I have asked the B. So in that hurriedness, you are thinking that why they will ask B, they might have asked C only. So you will go for answer third, you will go for answer fourth, CH3 CH double bond NOH. But answer is not that, because we did not ask the end product, we asked the middle product. Same kind of question is asked in the last year NEET, that is NEET 2023. Many students made it wrong, and after the exam is done, if somebody says the key, then they thought that unnecessary I lost the mark. So 4 marks instead of getting +4, if the student gets a -1, means it is 5 marks less. So this kind of mistakes will be a very, very great disasters. So children, read the question properly. Again, here underline that B, because B is the keyword. So had you been underlined that keyword, then you would not have been committed the mistake. Is it clear, children? Then, and one more thing. Statement questions. Statement 1, statement 2, or statement A, statement B. And standard options, like first option is both statements are right. Second option, both statements are wrong. Third option, statement A is right, statement B is wrong. And fourth option, statement A is correct, wrong, and statement B is right. But children, options can be changed at any time. First option need not be both statements are correct. First option can be both statements wrong. Is it clear or not? Is there any rule that I must give the standard questions, options in the standard format? There is no such rule. So you must read options thoroughly in the statement type of questions. and also in assertion reason type of questions. This is the very, very important. Now, you just see the physics question. The ratio of two specific heats Cp by Cv of CO. It is a very simple question. Very simple question. Everybody knows the answer. That as the carbon monoxide is a diatomic, so answer should be 1.4. So they will go for the 1.4. But answer to this question is 1.29. Because this is there is an exception in this case. Carbon monoxide is a diatomic undoubtedly, but with one vibrational mode. So because of that it has 2 more degrees of freedom. Overall it has 7 degrees of freedom. That is the reason answer is 1.29. And children, remember the same question is asked in one of the practice examination which we have conducted yesterday. So many students have made it wrong. And I am damn sure all these students during the practice session might answer the same question in a correct way. But in the exam they made it wrong. Again the same thing. There is a pressure, tension, stress, so many this kind of things they feel, but actually they don't feel all these things in the exam. All these are the pseudo terms, not the actual terms. So in order to answer this type of things, what you have to do is you must make a note of all exceptional things. So there can't be some 20-30, not more than 20-30 exceptionals in every subject. If you can make a note of all these exceptional things and if you can glance through them frequently, then you will never make a mistake in answering this type of questions. Is it clear, children? Similarly, you just see the current sensitivity of a moving coil galvanometer can be increased by. Now the formula for the sensitivity is BAN by C. So first, second, third options are there, and everyone will go for the fourth option that all of this is right. But the answer is the fourth one think that they are right. But in all these cases, that increasing that number of turns in the coil is the easiest way of increasing the sensitivity. That is right. So here also you need to be cautious in reading the question, and which is the most appropriate answer you need to select. Is it clear, children? Yes. Now, see, I'll tell you, when it comes to the chemistry, especially this organic chemistry, from the organic chemistry you will be getting 16 to 18 questions in the year 2024. Previously we used to get at least 13 to 14, but because some chapters they have deleted, this time more contribution is from the organic chemistry. So minimum 18 questions you will be getting. And children, remember, it is just like a biology only. So quite easily you can get more marks. But you need to practice organic chemistry like anything, and practice organic chemistry in the form of interconversions like this. You just take, for example, this is a single question, but from this data nearly 5 to 10 questions can be framed. 5 to 10 questions can be framed, but there is only one question. So this is called interconversions. So every interconversion can be given. Suppose, see here 1,2-dibromoethane on treatment with alcoholic potassium hydroxide and also on treatment with reagent A. Got this. Here only from this to this they may ask what is A. And here from ethyne to this B on passing the red hot iron tube. So this is the B. So they can ask only from here to here, and they may ask what is B. Or here by giving the benzene they may ask what is the reagent. So you must practice this organic chemistry in the form of interconversions. If you can write like this, hardly you will get some 20 questions. In the 20 questions you can keep the entire that organic chemistry in that, especially preparatory methods and properties. And if you can glance through that 20 questions almost all every alternate day in the coming 42 days, you will be answering all the questions most accurately in the less time possible. So children, practice like this. And also, in the case of physical chemistry and also in the case of physics, you just make a list of all the formulas at one place and glance through all the formulas quite frequently, because many of the numericals are formula based. So do that kind of thing. Then, as hardly 42 days are left, what you need to do during these days? Even in my last session, I have explained the same thing. Now also the same thing. See, during this 42 days, you must learn, you must recollect everything in the form of answering the questions, You must read concepts, but already you read the concepts, and now you need to glance through the concept, but you need to recollect the concepts by answering the questions, because answering the questions is the key thing for you in the final exam, which is just 42 days away from you. Is it clear, children? Do that. So every day minimum 200 questions you must practice in all the 4 subjects put together. 200 questions. So 42 into 200, that means it is 8,400. 8,400 questions, 8,400 concepts, 8,400 topics and subtopics. What more you need? Other than this 8,400, no need. With this, you can get 720 on 720 marks. Not just some 500, 600, 720 on 720. Provided if you have transformed all the knowledge of all these 8,400 questions into marks, it will happen. Is it clear, children? Now, then how a student feel confident? Then how the student will be free from nervous? Because see, children, every student will experience, some will feel bit nervous and will feel some tension, will feel some stress. It's pretty common. But they must avoid all those things by looking at the question paper. How? Suppose in the question paper, if you find similar questions, the questions which you have seen previously, then immediately you feel that the paper is easy. Once you feel that a paper is easy, all these pseudo terms like tension, stress, strain, all these things will go away. You will be totally tension free. Then your brain will work with more than 100% efficiency. So to see that questions which are there in the examinations are seen previously, you need to do lot of practice. So more practice you need to do, because you might dreamt of doing MBBS in so and so medical college in the 8th class or 9th class or 10th class or first year or the second year. So this is the long due for that goal, and that you will be realizing in just 42 days. So you need to put all your energy in the next 42 days. All the energy in the next 42 days in the most effective way. Now you say, more practice leads to more clarity on the concepts. More clarity on the concepts leads to more confidence. More confidence leads to more stability. Means you will be free from all the unwanted things. Once you feel more stable in the 3 hours 20 minutes exam, your accuracy levels will be very, very high. If your accuracy levels are very high, then you will be getting all the marks which you deserve, or you may get still more marks. So there is a reason, practice in the next 42 days. Then attending many practice exams. See, children, remember, previously I told you, again I am telling, exam time is 200 minutes. One exam. Practice exams are more. So in order to increase your efficiency from test on test, you must take every exam as a final exam. You must feel. If you feel, then you will be knowing what will happen if you feel it as a final exam. Then if you feel, then you can avoid some of the unwanted things in the next exam and some of the unwanted things in the next after exam, like that. So attending more practice exams. More practice exams will give more clarity on type of questions. If you see, that means what kind of deceiving words may be there. See, just now I explained some 2-3 questions. There may be incorrect, correct. So read that carefully and read the options carefully. If you see the question seriously, if you attempt the paper seriously, you will be identifying that options need not be in a proper way in the statement and assertion reason type of questions. So more practice exams, more clarity on the type of questions. More clarity on the type of questions leads to more questions. That means more clarity on questions to be left out. The moment you see some questions, you must have left those questions in the first instance. You must attempt the same questions at the end of the exam. Is it clear, children? And you will be getting more clarity on the time management, and that leads to more marks. Now, after exam analysis, this is the very important, children. Already I explained you what is the use of this after exam analysis. Children, remember your goal and everything of yours will be going to be materialized in that 200 minutes of the time. That means 3 hours 20 minutes of the time. So for that, the mistakes which you are committing in those examinations, you need to identify. Some of the questions you might make mistakes because you might be poor in concept. So you need to learn those concepts. And some of the mistakes which you are doing are mistakes which you are committing in the exam because of not reading the question properly, because of reading half and the next half you are presuming, and because the options are different and different kinds of reasons are there. But all this you can identify only when you do after exam analysis thoroughly. Though you might not have done this after exam analysis previously, do this after exam analysis in the upcoming days. Clear, children? At least spend minimum 1 hour or 2 hours on this after exam analysis. Your success lies on that, and your improvement depends on identifying your mistakes in or during after exam analysis, so that you can rectify. Now, efficiency increasing technique. See, that efficiency can be increased during the practice session by Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro technique. Now, children, remember this Pomodoro might be definitely a new word to you, new word to many, but everybody knows what is the thing which one need to follow in the Pomodoro technique. It's a very simple. Suppose if there is a concept which requires 1 hour time. Generally, our attention levels will not be with more than 100% for that entire 1 hour. So what you have to do, you break that 1 hour session into 2 sessions. First session 30 minutes, second session 30 minutes. And after the first 30 minutes, you take the break of 5 minutes and do the read the next 30 minutes. So this is called a Pomodoro technique. That means a breaking the sessions, breaking the practice times. And take a little bit of break, not much break, children. So just 5 minutes or 2 minutes. If you can take this kind of technique, if you can follow this Pomodoro technique, definitely you can keep your alertness in the very high state. Is it clear, children? So, children, remember one thing. Whatever you imagined for yourself for so long is going to be materialized in the next 42 days. So, you just make use of every minute available in the next 42 days for your benefit sake. Okay. So, on behalf of Sri Chaitanya Educational Institutions, I wish you all the very best. Thank you.